It's the morning of Genesis in Elodium, which is October 10th in the Roman Dominion calendar. The rain came overnight and in the evening, but it looks like the water held up all right. So I think today is the very last day I can do any mortar based off of how the temperatures are looking. You can see I left a little opening under here. Right now it's actually going the wrong way. This freaking drain. Should probably just keep that drain cap out, because when it doesn't go in all the way, it caps the drain for a bit. But that is a little opening to under there, so water can come out. If it penetrates in there, it'll drain. It should drain down to there. So it actually is not so bad as far as the water accumulating. But today I'll try to get at least a second coat on everything up here and address the whatever water accumulation issues remain. Try to cap that last section. I'm not going to be able to fill that, get this underside section over here capped today though, because I need foam and I don't have foam. So I'll have to figure something else out about that, but got to get the mortar on the roof all done today. Last day for mortar on the roof. In the lore of Elodium on Genesis, it's day 0, and almost like an ace in a deck of cards, it can be played low or high. It can be played as a low or as like day 366 in the leap year. But the idea is that you want to on this day of Genesis, you want to basically treat it like you would want it the whole year to be, like you're manifesting the whole year. So it started off like cold and dank, but I'm charging forward and I'm gonna do all this mortar and work, and there's like forecasts of rain, but whatever. So I'm starting by cutting this lath here so that I can get kind of like a finish kind of mortar on that sidewall there, and then I'm adjusting the clamps to try to get as much remesh in as possible, and similarly using this. Then I'm going to prep over here after cutting the foam. I'll staple on the lath to the fronts of those, and then hopefully I can move most of those obstacles and then get coverage on the rest of that. And then my goal is basically to get full coverage on the entire top here and that. I don't know if that's really realistic, but I'll basically get a coat on all of it and also address the water kind of pooling at the same time. This one just did a lot better at first than over there did, so there's not actually that much pooling. I bet with like 2 buckets or a batch at most I could get all this one done. So just some finishes for today and trying to get some things kind of wrapped up and in a couple of different places over here. This worked really well. There's just a tiny bit of pooling there, so I got most of it, and similarly over here I got most of it. There's just a tiny bit over there, so I'll be able to kind of just do my best to get the mortar on and make the last adjustments before the winter comes, so there's not these pools sitting there and going through the freeze cycles. It's the evening of Genesis. I'm 3 batches of mortar in. I chased the rainwater off again in all the areas where it was collecting. Most all the areas. Got finished the coverage on those stairs there, except for one little area that's holding down. And then I tied in remesh all around and got mortar on like the top layer of this bond beam where that loose or like rough lath was. Put that and then mortared that up. And then over here there was still more water drainage stuff I had to do, and then a lot of it going into the bond beam, tying remesh in, and then started to get some coverage on that ferrocement feature. I need to reinforce it at least a little bit so that when the winter snow comes, the what's there will be able to support it. But I feel pretty confident. I got really lucky with the weather. It hasn't really rained, and I feel pretty confident about all this so far. But after I eat some food, I am going to try to do another batch or 2, I think. But that's it, setting the tone for Genesis for year 8 of Elodium, the 8th Genesis. So the next project is insulating both the this tire column here, and then enclosing this space and insulating it, and then installing a wood stove right here, and like enclosing this, insulating it, and then the back, and then building like a back wall over there so that this side door over here opens up to this room, which will be kind of like a living room fireplace room. So to minimize the double movement of things that I have to do, I'm just going to cut that pallet corner out so I don't have to move the things, and then I should be able to have enough space right there to, I think I'm going to like pour a little footer for the wood stove or something. The A really cool wood stove was found for free on Craigslist, and that's what's going to go in here. And you'll get a look of that probably in several days' time. So what I've decided to do is just dig a little area there where I'll put in a little concrete footer thing. I got a couple bags of premix that I might just use them there. And then the dirt that I take out of there, I just drilled some holes in the bottom of this thing. This is like $10 or maybe even cheaper. It's a good deal for it. It's pretty heavy duty for a big pot. So I drilled holes in there, and I'm going to level this ground. This is going to be like a rock wall here, but I'm going to put this at like the end of the rock wall and level ground, and then the dirt that I take out will go in here, and then this will be kind of like a planter thing. So my latest recycling regenerative innovation was to take all of these scrap from the panels that I had to cut off and put about 4 or 5 inches in the bottom of this pot, which will provide drainage for it and kind of like a retro hugelkultur type thing as that breaks down. And that's got all sorts of glue and stuff in it that I wouldn't want to burn. So it'll break down over years' time, and eventually, so it'll serve a really good purpose like that. And yeah. So I made a simple form for the footer for the stove. I put this like floor underlayment underneath it as like a tiny bit of insulation and a water vapor thing, and then I put a bunch of scrap that was left over at the bottom of that for just a tiny bit of insulation value. And then I've got a little bit of waste remesh here, which I can put in there for a little bit of structural integrity. And I'm currently mixing up 2 bags of 80-pound cement mix, and I'll get some cement in here. So that's all set. There's just a little bit of overflow on the sides, and then that should help keep it in place so it doesn't really move, the stuff on the sides. And hopefully we can move that wood stove in here the day after tomorrow, probably. Here's how that planter turned out. Nice and full from the dirt where that footer is now. And I got some coconut coir in there and a little bit of sawdust, so that'll be biologically active for years to come, with compostable stuff to get composting underneath, and then can top feed it with compost. And I'm just not really sure what will be good to plant there yet. Some kind of shrubbery, perhaps. We need a shrubbery. Who will provide us with a shrubbery? And what kind of shrubbery? The shrubbery must be nice. I must consult the Knights of Knee. Next project is to get some kind of footer up underneath this door so that I'll be able to seal that area. So I'm not sure how exactly that's going to go. This is a pretty good anchor point on the one side. There's not really a good anchor point on the other side. And I got 3 pieces of rebar. I'm not really sure how rebar could possibly bond over here. Doesn't seem very possible, but I could bend the excess rebar to go to the left potentially. So I'm going to get digging and see what I can do here. So I'm doing this somewhat half-assed. I only got 1 piece of rebar in there. It's not really that deep. It's only going to be like a few inches, but I need to get it done today. And so just doing something simple. Here's 1 piece of rebar, and then I'll put just made a batch of cement, or concrete, I mean, by mixing stone and sand and Portland. So get some decent coverage on it, and it'll keep the critters out, hopefully. So I wouldn't call it a bond beam because it's not really bonding that side to that side, but it is filling the area so that I can make it weatherproof. And I'll probably end up coming at this thing from either side. I'm going to end up wanting to umbrella insulate this side. I'm going to end up wanting to excavate all that dirt eventually. So this will probably get modified later on, but this is good for today. And that's just 1 batch. We have 2 buckets of sand, 1.5 buckets of stone, and the overall cost of about $20. And the same thing with the footer for the fireplace. The overall cost is about $20 because that was 1 cull piece of PT and then 2 bags of concrete, and the other one was just one cull piece of PT, but a 2x4 versus a 1x6. But so 2 cement concrete projects done today. Really happy with both of those. Cheap and essential. I'm devising the most ghetto solution to insulate this back wall, and I want to invite you into the ghetto with me to show you what it's like in the ghetto. I was gonna like start singing this song, but the reference just would be lost on everyone. So look at this. Oh shit, I just fell over. So this is the back wall of that room. All the wood is stacked there. I was thinking I was gonna have to move the wood. Like you can see that loft framed over there. So the ghetto solution is just pack this tunnel with insulation blocks and foam it in, and voila, the back wall is complete. No necessary wood moving at all. And with using 3 cans of spray foam, so it's like a $15 solution, because all the other stuff is just scrap foam panels and then the plywood pieces. And now that's airtight. This gets some water in it, so now I'm going to do a little bit of earthwork to make sure that any water that gets in here is going to drain out the tunnel. And so I've got to build a little trench, and I'm going to use this plastic bag that there's a big old plastic bag that the insulation panels came in, or some of the insulation scraps came in, and I'll use that once I slope it, or I'll kind of like use it in multiple layers to basically work with the dirt and get the water to run off. You'll see. So this drainage project is completed for now. I trenched out to here so that the water coming out of various areas there no longer goes right around that tire where it was going before. So that'll be better in the winter to keep the water away from those tires. It'll lead right into these tires, but I'll figure that out later. Basically, I think next year what I'm going to do is build a water feature right here, and then have plumb up like the rainwater there to go into this water feature. But that's a next year probably project. So redirected the water flow here, and then trenched out this area in here, and kind of like bermed that up so that water that comes in there should be sloped to come out the tunnel as well. And that's pretty much it for me in this little section for now. It should drain, and this end part is airtight and insulated and capped, and I can now focus on the other side. So pretty productive day. Naughty kids just spilled my tea when I went to get to some zip ties for the next project, which is pairing this Ford hood with the old trailer chassis thing, which you can't actually see from here, but which is mounted in the wall. So somehow I'm going to move the hood over there along the rampart, which will be hard around the corner, and then like zip tie it into place somehow. That's my plan anyways. So I'm thinking that eventually I'll mount this hood where like the back of it is up to the wall, and then it's coming out and down, and then it's like a hood over the window type thing. But I couldn't do that with just zip ties. I'll have to do some ferrocement works to support that. So I might do that next year. So basically now it's just zip tied in like that, which will be a good place for it, I guess. And it still allows kind of animals to go in and out underneath, and it will help with the kind of 3D effect from afar, I think. So that's that for now, and moving on to the next project. Just bouncing around all sorts of little things now that I have to get wrapped up. Oh no, Rocco died. I don't know what happened, but Ninja and Storm are doing good still. Wednesday morning, and one of the projects for today is adding more mortar to the living room floor, which I had done once before, but I didn't do quite right because the slope wasn't right. So I added maybe 60 pounds of the pre-mixed mortar, and it's going to be very difficult to navigate the living room. But one of the nice things of just having a cement floor is that repairs primarily consist of just adding more cement to the floor. First fire of the year tonight to help the mortar cure. Got frost all over this. I don't know if you can see it, but got cold enough that this is icy. This is the first time on ice. And it's looking like on the forecast, maybe next week or something, the temperatures are going to get warm again. So I'll probably have another mortar window to be able to fix those last issues of why there's ice there. So that'll be good. But right now, I got into a whole new project yesterday. Remounted these solar panels, which I might have to do again. And I'm thinking I'm going to remount those 4 solar panels over here, but I don't know exactly when. But I decided to start extending the umbrella insulation over there beyond that unit so that it'll perform a little bit better in the wintertime. So I foamed some of that into place, and then I'm thinking about using those panels as like a staircase going up there, which would be kind of convenient too. So we'll see how that goes. So I got that foam insulation door in, and then in here I can't seal up that corner because there's supposed to be a wood stove that goes there, and then I got to figure out the whole chimney over there before I can finish insulating it. But this is mostly all insulated with a foot of insulation here. That is going to be a big dehumidifier in here because that's a single pane window. I was originally thinking this was going to be a thermal buffer zone, and now it's going to be enclosed within the thermal umbrella, so probably just have to do some sort of like plastic thing to try to get an extra air pocket on that. But already just from the heat in here, you can see all the condensation on the window drying out the air because it's so much colder outside than in here. So now what I'm doing is, so part of this umbrella insulation extension, I want to get insulation underneath there, either under or over. I think I'll go over where the grill is, and I'll go under in front of the doors. So I'm going to put this panel here right up to the footer that's there as close as I can get it. But first I got to keep digging out all this stone. It's pretty much all stone here on top of some landscaping fabric. So I'll just move it out to here and then help me with kind of setting the rest of it. I mean, I suppose I might just like make a wide arc and get the umbrella insulation like all the way out here and then like connect it all the way to the other one potentially, because I don't see why not, really. And that'd be kind of cool. I'll just have to move the cement mixer and figure out a number of things to get it all to go together. But now that I just said that, I was thinking I was gonna cap that off with this triangular piece, how that remesh is, but instead I probably won't do that, and I'll just end up connecting it all sort of together, and it'll just have to have kind of like a lower level that will drain or something. That'll be the tricky part. So I'll figure that out after I get this panel in and dig out enough of the stone to get it to go beneath the doors. We've got another project going on over here. This metal thing I salvaged from a cart I got on the side of the road. It was all rusted. I spray painted it bronze, and then I'm going to mount it here. This is going to be the new battery stand. I'm going to move the power system, all the batteries and stuff in here. I'm going to close off the end of that, and then the roof of this is all insulated, and this is basically will be a thermal buffer zone for the room on the right, and also the living space over there where I live. And then keeps the batteries warm. Turns out that the goats eating the waterproofing caused dripping on the inside, which dripped on my inverter, broke my like almost $300 inverter. And so in the process of many things, I'm just going to relocate it all into here where it most certainly will not be dripping. But first I got to build out the infrastructure, and then I'll slowly migrate all the things while I'm doing all these other projects also. So over here I got this little kind of landing in of the like 6-inch black, whatever that material is, expensive material, for in between the two doors. And then that's like all of that material I have. Pretty much all the other material, oh no, there's a little bit more right there. But pretty much all the other material I have is all the thick stuff. And so what I'm planning on doing here is like putting this drain pipe here, because this is going to be a lower level. And so it's sloped to this corner, and so I'll build a drain, which will take it to that level, and then I'll put the insulation over the drain, so hopefully it won't freeze. And then over here, this was like a big smart pot that I just kind of like rolled over, and then just poured the stone around it, and so I'm going to use that. So I already have my shrubbery. So I already have my shrubbery. So I already have my shrubbery right there, and then I'm going to plant, I'm going to put another planter here. At first I was going to use this thing and make a planter out of that, but that's still like a good garbage can thing, and I didn't want to do that. And then I remember I have this thing, so I drilled holes in this, and then I'm going to put this on top of this nice soil where the smart pot is, and then I'll basically insulate foam around it. So this will be like that, and then I get it kind of level, and then later on I can open that up and then put like soil in it and stuff. So that'll be cool. Wisdom's been in here sitting on some eggs for quite a while now, coming up on 3 weeks. No peeps yet. So by the end of the day, Thursday, got that landing in, and this last piece here isn't in yet. I'm still trying to figure that one out on this side. But this goes up over that drain. And then the drain pipe is up in there and sloped to go that way. And then I'm disposing of some of the cans around this round feature. This comes all the way out to here, and then that's going to eventually connect to there. So then I just have to figure out the slope in between, which is actually rather tricky. But I kind of just like how all of this comes together. It's going to be expensive when it comes to remeshing and mortaring it all, but even if it just has to sit like this and foamed through the winter, I mean, it's just going to sit outside anyways, so it doesn't really make a big difference whether I can get it mortared or not, I figure. So just when you think the cement for the season is done, there's like a window of more cement, so I got to do all the cement I can get. I've got a bit more sand over there. So I had to get some more Portland, some more lath, a good bit of remesh, which is probably going to go over most of this for a thin layer of mortar in like a day and a half, or maybe even starting tomorrow. I don't know, it's going to be a busy warm period, mortar window. And I still have not figured out this whole pattern for this doorway and that doorway and how all this is angled. It's kind of confusing, in fact. But I got all the supplies I need. Hey, who's that? Getting in the vehicle. What are you doing over there? You're not allowed to do driving. You don't even have a license. I mean, I don't have a license, but I mean, you don't have insurance or registration. I mean, I don't have those things, but you gotta have thumbs. You gotta at least have thumbs and legs that'll reach the pedals. We'll do driving lessons later, Benedict. Alright, enough of you crazy goats. I gotta unload here. Get out of there. Well, kid. So what I've done over here is taken the stone off of the landscaping fabric and then pulled the landscaping fabric back right in front of this doorway. I had a kind of a nice finish right up to there with just the stone up to the edge of this whatever it's called, footer thing over there. But the goal today, what I want to do is extend this umbrella insulation all the way to the edge of the gate tower here. So in order to do that, a lot of dirt needs to be moved in order to get the thick insulation panels down in the ground there so that the gate can still swing open underneath of it. So I prepped all that, moved the stone. What do you think, girl? And the goal is to dig a bunch of dirt out and then put it right here to be able to get the panels in there. See how it goes. This is my first legit potato harvest. Red potatoes. Planted them kind of late, but that was my best potato harvest yet. What do you think, boys? Pretty good. So by Sunday morning, I've got this largely filled in. I'm hoping to fill in the last holes today, and then get things all prepped for mortar, and maybe even get some mortar on today. A couple things I didn't point out in the last video is this probably will be a planter at some point, but one of the residents salvaged this metal thing, and so it'll be a tabletop for now. Seemed like a good use for it, and it's a little bit short, but otherwise it's nice kind of placement to have it in this area. And then I'm also stacking up the panels there to sort of like make stairs going up, while also insulating the dirt underneath and like helping the structure perform. So a lot of this will have to be coming together today. I just realized I needed to do a video before I proceeded, so got down 4 sheets of remesh over this area, And I'm hoping to do 2 batches of mortar and get a coat on those 4. By the end of the day, Sunday, 2 batches, got coverage on the 4 sheets, and then a little extra to start getting the rock foundation here. Once it's seamless between the mortar over the rock foundation and then the vertical wall, it should look pretty cool. It'll be hard to tell. By Monday afternoon, I've got some more remesh down. I think there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more sheets. We'll see how much coverage I get in the next 2 batches of mortar. And then tomorrow's my last mortar day in this window, so really pushing it here. We'll see what I can do. Tuesday morning. So yesterday, got 4 batches done. I got a first coverage on all those 5 additional sheets of remesh, and then I got second coverage on the first 2. And most of these side walls have some coverage. And then, oh, good news. Benedict is now joining Han as a lifetime landscaper resident of Elonium. He was, his fate was unknown. There was musings of him being a livestock meat goat, but now he will be a lifetime resident here, taming the wildness of the growths. So anyways, today's the last day of my mortar window. I'm going to try to get full coverage on, I don't know if I really want to walk on that yet. I'm going to try to get full coverage on the whole flat area. So this whole area here, as well as these areas, which are recessed in front of the doors, both of which have drains to deal with the water when it's recessed. So got to do a lot of, oh, and then I want to get this column as well. So lots of metal work, lots of mortar today, and we'll see how it goes. So by Tuesday afternoon, I prepped all the metal that I have. So there's 3 more sheets of remesh down, as well as lath in areas. I didn't get coverage on everything, but I did as much as I could with what I've got. I also got 2 layers of lath on this column here, which turned out really good. I'm happy about that. I'll just need 1 more layer to be able to get to the top. Unfortunately, today is the last day of the mortar window, so I don't know what I'll do about the areas that I can't finish, but for now, I've got to finish these areas. I also foamed this one drain in. There's that one little drain coming from the step over there, which then goes into this bigger drain, so I've got to get that drain in there draining. So, time for mortar. I prepped most of this edge as well, so that's where that one drain pipe comes out, so I should be able to mortar over the face of that, as well as tying in a good bit of the remesh into the kind of rock footer foundation kind of thing for it. Alright, to the mortar. 2 batches in. Batch number 3 is mixing. I should be able to get coverage, certainly on all that horizontal remesh, and then a lot of this area that's not fully covered. I should be able to get some coverage on this and over there. Then I'm gonna break for food, and we'll see if I can do any more mortar after that, if there's time. I have procured a very nice shrubbery, a double rubbery, to please the Knights of Ni. I think it's lilacs, but there's just lilacs getting dug up, so that was very good timing. I didn't even have to pay about $3.50 for it. I just got it for free. And this, I can take this out. So tomorrow night is gonna freeze. So my mortar window is over, but I'm gonna keep doing more mortar. At least this morning. I think I'm gonna do 2 more batches. And whatever can cure today, tomorrow night, or today, tonight, and then tomorrow. If it's thin stuff, it'll probably cure pretty fast or something. Who knows? I don't know the chemistry. But anyways, I'm going to try to get full coverage on the sides, and then get a double coat on the first coat of the stuff that I did yesterday. And Then on the roof, I poured a bunch of water. I'm going to try to get all of the last kind of puddles on the roof out. So probably just 2 batches of mortar in the morning is the agenda for today after the shrubbery is in place. Good news, I found some more lath, which I had been using for goat defenses. So now I can finish covering up this and transition it into the other stone thing. And I still don't really know what I'm going to do about that corner. I kind of messed that up and it's all kind of ugly, but I should at least be able to get this column to be somewhat cleaned up. 2 batches in on Wednesday. I'm about to do the final batch of the season, for the second time, which is getting a second coat on this part and that landing and this landing, and getting that one to drain by putting a form up in the door to make sure that water's not going into the entry hall, and then kind of cleaning up the sides and whatnot. So last batch coming right up. So by Wednesday evening, the final batch of mortar is done. I put a little form there and raised it up right where the door is so it should slope to the drain where that piece of foam is. That drain goes over to right here. You can actually see that little hole is where it comes out. And then there's a big drain there, which all that slopes to. And the big drain comes out here. Still a little bit rough kind of finish, but I got a second coat on pretty much all of it. Just where the cinder blocks are, there's actually some raw spots, and I don't know if I'll be able to get coverage on those. But I'm really happy with how that wall thing turned out, and it ended up like in line with the ferrocement above. So yeah, that's the end of the mortar stuff for this year. I've got one more extension of the ferrocement to do over in that corner. I mean, not the ferrocement, but the insulation panels, and then I probably won't cement them. I'll just foam them into place. So the shrubberies here, this project is basically done for the season. And yeah. So over here, which is like the last corner of this insulation on the ceiling of the entry hall, that's not closed. Hi, Benny. Good morning. You good boy. So because there's such a big hole here, I was thinking of different things I could do with it. And one of my ideas was to, like, because there's like a roof here, is to mount a safe into it. So I ordered this little safe, and I'm basically gonna mount it in there as I close this thing up. I don't think I'll be able to do the mortar this year, but I think I'll maybe today work on foaming more insulation pieces in there until I can foam that safe in. Pretty darn chilly today, though. Hopefully my mortar's all doing good. Thursday afternoon. Here's how foam mounting that safe is going. Pretty much got it how I want it. I was originally thinking it was going to be sticking out less, but then I figured it would be better for any kind of, because it's kind of outdoor, I figured it would be better to be jutting out a little bit. So it'll just get foam mounted. I don't know if I'm going to have time to do any mortar on it, but once the foam I just did cures, it'll be pretty solid. So I'm going to take a break, and then probably just needs one more can of foam, and then I'll be able to close it up for mortar at some point. So it is foam mounted. When I get the opportunity, I will mortar around it. Cut that lath a little bit, but I'm happy with how that turned out. And I filled in that hole, which I was kind of, well, it took all day basically to do. And I've got one more project for tomorrow, and then that'll wrap up this this video, I think. The goal for today is to fill this dug up area with my remaining insulation panels, and then foam it. And I'll just have to make sure it's all sloped to drain correctly. Show us how you do it, boys. Go on in. The boys coming in from the roof through the window. Benedict in the lead. I'm working on this area. I've almost finished digging before doing putting the insulation panels down, and maybe some stone first. I don't know. What do you think, boys? You coming, hon? Alright, that's all for now. Storm passed. It got caught up in the drain, or the fish, in the pump for the fish tank. It got all mangled, hung in there for a little while, and then passed. So just Ninja remains. Today, I got a caravan. And I got remesh and lath. Remesh to be able to finish that up. Lath to do the front face of the umbrella insulation. And also got a wood stove, which is gonna be the heat for in here. It's kind of small, and it doesn't, it's like just barely fits that base I had made for it, or made for another wood stove, but I think it will work, and then I can finish up winterizing in here now that the wood stove is here. So, a couple of big things for today. Big shout out to Brendan, helping out with that wood stove and the connection with the caravan. And yeah, big day of stuff. Monday morning, and in the third week of this video. And today, I installed this wood stove, and I got this yesterday. I was just doing a little test burn with some cardboard. I went and got my phone. I guess it got out, or it went out. But I realized after I cut the chimney to install it that if I take the 4 legs off of this thing, it's got these little points where it would just sit just right on that cement there, which would make it fit that better. But I'm probably just going to leave it like this and just put some like 2x4 PT around the bottom to make sure that this thing doesn't fall off of like the edge of the little footer that it's on. But it was a pretty simple install. I'm going to do some of that insulation back and put in some protection around the chimney between the insulation, and then I can seal this off. And it's got a cute little wood stove in this thing, and just burning that little bit of cardboard, this chimney place, the exposed chimney at the angle really radiates the heat really fast. Like, this iron still isn't really that hot to the touch, but that chimney pipe is. So if I have to get that done on the outside, I'm gonna have to extend it out here. But I was just using a little piece of the roof that I cut off earlier in the season to kind of do this ferrocement stuff. So I just like cut that into a strip to kind of screw that on. So I'll extend it up at least past that little drip edge, and probably won't send it up all the way, but if I really wanted to I could. But I'll probably just do another 2 to 3 foot piece, and then I can kind of close this up, finish this up on the outside. And this unit here is be a lot closer to winterize. I still have to winterize around that door and around that window, and then around this door as well, as finishing that corner and a little bit over here. And then I'll do a little bit of protection around these these tires as well, protection from the fire for the tires with some kind of metal something there. Monday afternoon, and it's another day of getting panels. This is load number 1 on the way to getting the beer for the workers. I found some other things on the side of the road. This is a nice double pane glass door and 6 double pane windows that were getting salvaged, and of course the cab is full of insulation as well. So it looks like it'll be at the minimum 3 loads, and this might just be kind of like a reserve for next year, but who knows. I just keep doing these insulation projects, and with the product available, materials available, then the projects kind of materialize. But more loads to go. Load number 2 was a bit sketchy, but I made it work. Load number 3 had another very long 16-footer that didn't fall along the way. So another full load, going back for another after this. Load number 4, and I'm not done yet. Load number 5, and I'm not done yet. And then there's load number 6. And now my car is having car troubles, but at least I got that done. And I'll have to figure out the car issues later. Hopefully it's all right and isn't gonna die on me. As a testament to how good this insulation is on the umbrella insulation, there's still ice over the whole thing. After like a relatively warm day, there's no snow anywhere or ice anywhere except on this super well insulated umbrella insulation. Tuesday morning, and we got another mortar window. It's actually opened right now. And I unfortunately didn't do all the prep already, but I'm prepping this area with 3 sheets of remesh, and then I'm gonna get into the mortar over here, as well as closing up some of the holes over here. Fast forward, as well as closing up some of these kind of holes here, like that little one and that little one, and yeah. But the main thing is I want to get a cover. Oh, and at some point I'm going to prep the fronts of this. I haven't done that yet either. But I'm starting with the remesh and then this little ferrocement slab thing. Remesh is prepped, ready for mortar. 2 batches done before breakfast. Good start. I prepped the metal around the safe box, so I'm going to mortar that. It's just a one, today's the last day of the mortar window. So I'll probably just get a batch or 2 of mortar on and do this, and then maybe might get a little more coverage on that, and then I'll show you the other part. And then I'll be filling in the holes and getting a second coat on here, as well as probably a little bit more up on the top, getting a little more coverage on some remesh and drainage stuff. So onto the mortar. So after 2 batches today, I got a good bit of coverage up here, and then there's a bit of coverage up there, and then more coverage on this, and then you can see how the safe kind of wall situation here turned out. Pretty happy with it. Got most of that all closed up, and that's all the mortar I can do, because it's going to be freezing tomorrow night, I think. Yeah, see, even that's cutting it close. And then down here I got coverage on that whole thing, and pretty good on the edges, connecting, almost making it a bond, not really a bond beam, but like connecting different parts, like that umbrella insulation to the gate tower, to the or to the entry hall to the gate tower. Hey dudes, what are you doing? All right, that's or you can see it from up here, maybe. More on there, and then just slope things, working the remesh in and stuff. So now I am going to prep that space on there. I basically got through the entire sand mountain this year. So now I'm going to prep that area and get another delivery of sand, even though it probably won't be used for next year. It'll be good to have it. The delivery has arrived, taking on weight. That'll be all the ambition for the next year. Who knows what will come of this sand, but for now we'll tarp it and then just store it through the winter. So this is for real, my last batch of mortar. I'm out of Portland after this batch, and I'm gonna do the heavy on the fiberglass in this batch, and because it's gonna be, I'm gonna get some coverage on on the ferrocement feature up top. You can see all the insulation panels. So get to that. I already did 1 batch today, and just finishing up some stuff on drainage and different areas. Final mortar is complete. Just did a couple of touch-ups over here and a couple of touch-ups over there. Getting the transitions really well connected into the various anchor points on the 3 corners of this little kind of triangle here. And then over here I got coverage all the way onto the end there, and got the second coat of the backing over here, and then cleaned up this area around the safe. Though it doesn't look super clean on the bottom right there, but getting like a second coat on that stuff. And then a lot of, like one of the batches mostly went on still getting this to shed water properly, which clearly I'm not very good at because it's taking me so many different batches to do. So yeah, that's it for this season for mortar, for real this time, I think, unless there's another warm spell, and then I'll probably do some more. But it's Getting colder. So after watching the video, I realized that I forgot to get footage of this, but basically this got the thick insulation underneath, and then it got well foamed in to kind of like the berm on that structure, and then that whole footer there, and then to this side, and then there's 3 pieces of remesh, and then stone up to it, and then the remesh goes over the stone. So the mortar goes from insulation to then over stone. Okay, so that's it for this video. I probably won't have another video for quite a while, another project video for quite a while. I might do a video. Oh, I'll turn around real quick. I might do a video about Bitcoin Cash, and I might do something about sort of the geopolitics and whatnot going on. There's so much going on, and I've been focused on it, but I've also been doing this, so I haven't made any videos about any of that other stuff. This shirt is a $13,000 t-shirt. That's right, more than everything that you have. Just kidding. Because I bought it with 0.15 Bitcoin BTC. Anyways, that's totally a tangent. So I actually have an ask. Thank you if you listened to this long in that video. Thank you for listening. I appreciate you. And I actually have an ask. I put the donation links on there. I never asked for donations, and I'm not going to ask for donations now. The ask is, going into winter, I am a single man who has very few social connections, and if anyone watching this seems like they would be a resident woman here, or they know someone who is a single woman who might be a resident woman here, if they can like play matchmaker and connect us, I'm gonna put, that's my ask, is if anyone can connect a couple single souls to make a better union in a castle here. I'm gonna put my Telegram handle in the description below, so you can message me if either of those conditions apply. And then I'm also gonna put the Telegram announcement channel in there. So if you click the announcement channel, you'll get to the announcement channel of Elodium. Well, you'll get more updates than just the videos. And most of the videos will be posted there as well, but there's that option for Telegram is kind of my preferred messenger app, and that's what Elodium uses for the announcements. And there will be probably some videos coming from the Elodium channel as well, and I'll link that in there. If you want to follow the Elodium YouTube channel, there will be a link for that in the description as well, because there's a YouTube channel for here, OG Foundation, the capital of Elodium, and then there's one for Elodium itself. There's only a couple videos on that one. But anyways, thanks for listening. That'll probably be all from me for a while.